Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another thrilling episode of Just a Bit Outside. I don't know why I went jazz hands there. Must be some winning fatigue there. I just went to. They had us jazz hands for everything, John. So I'll blame it with that.
There you go.
You're just like, no, there's no saving you from this one, man. You just went total jazz hands.
I mean, hey, give the people what they want, man. The jazz hands.
Jazz hands. All right. So that's enough jazz handing for today. We've got some topics to cover here, John. It's been another thrilling week of baseball, if I don't say so myself. We've got some good stories here. We've got some epic returns, and one team that I'm just going to say is in complete shambles right now.
Hey, the Mets aren't that bad.
Well, I wasn't even going to talk about the Mets, but we can bring up the Mets here. Let's take a look at the standings, because I'm pretty sure the entire NL East did not have a decent last week and a half or so. Where did I put my standings? Where are my standings? Did I lose my standings? We're already getting off onto a great one here, John.
Well, the Phillies did squeak one out against the Red Sox today.
Yeah, we're losing 6 in a row or something like that.
They were down pretty bad.
Okay.
Harper did go yard yesterday, I should say, last night evening. And listen, we got to touch on the Derby, dude. While we got some time, there you go.
Yeah, we can do the Derby real quick, and how 6 horses went down, and like one died, and the odds favorite got scratched. And
well, I was more so going to go on the tilt of I bet on the winner. So number 8, Mage, 16-1, had a winning ticket. So,
but you also bet on like 3 other horses to win. So
yeah, I bet on 4 horses to win. One of them won, and I netted 3 times more than what I put out.
I mean, I had the 2nd and 3rd place horse. I think
called hedging your bets, Tim. We're not in the business of throwing down 7-leg parlays every day.
Hey, I've limited those to 3.
Hey, if I would have taken all 4, if I would have taken an exacta with those horses in there, even if I boxed it, the odds would have been 300-1 probably. But of course, the chances of hitting that were next to nothing. So you hedge a 14-1, a 16-1, a 7-2, a 9-2, and what do you do? If 3 of those 4 win, then you make out. If the other one wins, then you make back most of what you bet. And if one of the other 14 horses wins, so well, you lose it. But you give yourself a fighting chance.
And I guess that's all you can do at the end of the day. Speaking of fighting chances here, I don't think anybody's catching Tampa Bay anytime soon.
Dude, the Rays are keeping it up, man. I mean, it's still a little bit early. I thought they'd kind of falter more, but good for them. And the Orioles, man, like, good for them. We all thought the Orioles would be pretty decent, but a lot of times you have these teams that are kind of like lower tier, in most people's eyes. And then, you always, like last year with the Raiders in the NFL, right? Everybody's kind of like, oh, the Raiders are going to have a good year. They were terrible, right? This year you come in, you're like, oh, the Orioles look like on paper they could be pretty decent after what they did last year. And so far, they're, meeting expectations, right?
Yeah, and they definitely do have at least a young core that hopefully they hold on to this year.
Yeah.
Let's not ship them off at the deadline.
How about the Yankees, dude? Shambles in the Bronx.
Yeah, I was just about to bring them up. And I'm not sure if you saw the news, but remember how we were thinking Carlos Rodon was going to be a Philly or be a Met?
Yeah, he's got a chronic issue.
Yeah, good thing they avoided that one.
Yeah.
Chronic back issue. Basically like one of those things, like it's like deteriorating or whatever. It's just one of those, it's never going to heal itself. It's just something he has to deal with for the rest of his career.
I think he's going to get surgery on it though too, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's some surgeries that you can get, but it's just one of those issues that's going to linger him for the rest of his professional career. So it's not something that can be healed.
Was it a 6-year deal?
Huh?
I think it was a 6-year deal.
Yeah, it's
6-year, like 126 million or something like that.
It's a hefty deal.
Yeah.
And, it's the Yankees don't they've got the big contracts there. I think Aaron Boone's on a short leash, even though they might have, I think they just re-signed him or extended him, but
yeah,
I can't imagine that leash is too much longer. Who we got here? The AL Central just kind of treading water, except for Kansas City. And
you scroll your screen down, Tim? Your screen's not going down.
It's not?
Nope. Still just showing the AL East.
What? let's try this again. Let's try this again. Oh, it's because I have 2 MLB standings up. Where's my other one?
You call this a little bit of inside baseball, guys. This is how the sausage gets made right here.
Yeah, this is what happens when you don't prepare your tabs correctly. You think I'd put them in order with how I'm going to talk about it, but is it scrolling now?
Now it's scrolling. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, dude. Kansas City, speaking of down bad, I mean, everybody's hopping on the A's, which we'll talk about then, but Kansas City's, I mean, listen, their expectations were nothing.
Yeah.
But the AL Central is not exactly lighting the world on fire at anybody there, right? I mean, you figure Cleveland has got a good chance to go back to playoffs probably on paper, right? They're staying there. Twins are kind of like, I don't think anybody puts a whole lot of salt in them.
No, and the White Sox, too, just kind of are slowly imploding on themselves.
You watch that one play where the guy hit a chopper down the third baseline and he just barely even jogged first base, right? Yeah, walked. And the throw beat him out by like a second. Like if he would have actually ran, he probably would have beat it out.
That was the first hitter of the game for them.
Yeah.
That was the bottom of the first, and then he rightfully got pulled. But I don't know if you played any kind of baseball like above JV or varsity level, John, but I'm sure like you can relate. Like if a coach catches you dogging it, how much you get, like you just get reamed out. And it's kind of hard to believe that these professional athletes still just like don't go.
So one thing you can control is the hustle, right? So, I mean, and that's, having not played baseball up that high, but haven't played other sports is, I mean, if you're it's all about effort, right? And as Philly fans, we know that more than anything because that's all the town wants, man. As if you're putting in effort and you're losing, hey, if they see you go to the ground on the basketball court for a loose ball, or if they see you out making a dive in left field and missing a ball, whatever, as long as they see you putting effort out there, they're willing to work with you, right? Yeah. But it's just lack of hustle that really annoys every fan in general. But we can relate to that as much as anybody.
So what you're saying in short is clap your hands, everybody, for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Listen, play the song, baby. All right, I'm a little bit on one right now about that. So tough game, dude. Fourth quarter, they were up by 9. Typical Doc Rivers coach team goes down and almost loses it at the end of regulation. They were down by, I think, 5 points late in the fourth. Came back. Embiid had a decent game. Harden again, 42 points out of his mind. Hit a 3 at the end of OT. Put him up, and then Marcus Smart, who is, by the way, just a goon. Terrible player. I mean, good player, but just absolutely, violent. And the Sixers got really screwed on a bunch of missed calls from him and from Tatum pushing off towards the end of the game. But 2-2, leaving Philly. All right, we'll take it.
Take that.
Because this Philly team's not doing much for us.
And that's what I was going to just segue into. Bryce Harper finally returns. We'll touch on that here in a little bit as well. But Embiid gets the MVP the same day Harper comes back, and Philadelphia gets a quick jolt, and the Sixers and the Phillies both lost that day. Yeah. But it's a long season, so there's still plenty to go there. We'll touch on Philadelphia here in a little bit. But again, the NL East just kind of treading water here. I decided to rep a little bit of Pittsburgh today, and they seem to have hit a wall losing their last 7 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
3-7 over the last 10. And you can see, like, if you keep an eye on the last 10 and the streaks, everybody's either on like a win 2, lose 1, win 1 kind of thing. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee just have not had a week.
We all kind of thought the Pirates would come back down to earth, right? I hate to say it, hate to be a buzzkill. You never know. They could right the ship, but the start wasn't representative of what the squad is and what people expected. They could battle for the division or a wild card, but they weren't going to run away with it like the Braves are running away with the East.
Yeah, and pretty sure earlier this week too, you had the Rays and Pittsburgh go off against each other, and you had 2 former Philadelphia greats of Zach Eflin and Vince Velasquez pitching against each other. Both have, I think at the time, Eflin was like 4-0. Velasquez over his last 3 was like 2-1 or 3-0 or something like that. Just both pitching out of their minds, which that can never happen in Philly, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Something in the water, I guess.
The water. And in the NL West, not as much of a blowout as I thought. The Dodgers, just kind of coming back down to earth, but Arizona's really throwing one together here. I think Arizona may be one of those sneaky teams to watch.
The Padres are hanging around there too, right? It's still early, but
still early. Yeah, like once we get about another month in, once we get to June, we should have a good idea of who stands where. But
in the East, man, the Braves, 7 games up and 8 games up on the Phillies. So I mean, you can't wrap a division up, but you can play your way out of a divisional race pretty quickly, right? And so, I mean, granted, we saw the Phillies bounce back after last season's start and firing Girardi and whatnot, but you got to worry a little bit about how far back they are and how they aren't really, closing the gap at all.
No, so I mean, we'll throw a little Philadelphia talk in here. So the MV3 returns, the fastest return ever from Tommy John surgery in 120 days. Given credit with the DH rule in the National League really helps speed that process up. But 120 days, I think between the last out of the World Series and now, he missed 30 total games.
It's crazy. We've talked about these surgeries, how far they've come. But as a Philly fan, I don't know if I speak for you or everybody, but I mean, I love having him back, but I would not have been opposed to having a little bit of caution with, clearing him. I mean, I trust the doctors, and if they say he's good to go, he's good to go. But man, for what he provides and how long you have him under contract, I would not want to, especially at this point in the season, wouldn't want to, risk things too much to get him out there too soon. I
mean, but at this point now too, you kind of need a shot in the arm. The pitching quite hasn't been there. The offense is just fluttering all over.
The offense is Schwarber.
Yeah, let's
4 bombs, not even just Schwarber. I mean, literally just some home runs from Schwarber here and there that ain't gonna win you games.
I mean, he hit one today, second deck, but much like Kyle Schwarber, the offense is good one day and then goes silent for almost a week.
Mm-hmm.
But see, you're a little cautious with Harper. I think everything will be fine. The last thing weirdly holding up was the head first slide. So as long as another thing I want to touch on too here, stupid pitch clock. The Phillies went to MLB to try to, ask for like 5 or 10 additional seconds to before they start the clock. So Harper can get the brace on his arm. And you'd figure that they would want to, help protect one of the faces of the game. MLB just came out and said, nah, we're not going to do a dang thing.
Yeah. We talked about that rule and how it's difficult with discretion or lack of discretion and how black and white you want to make it. Right. So I don't know, man. They don't have it figured out. It'll take time. It's annoying though.
Yeah. Only 1 game per week, but the Braves are good.
Braves are good. But it's early. It's early. We saw last season. So, I mean, hey, Philly fans, we get ourselves down in the dumps a little bit, right? So we're probably more pessimistic than we should be. But that's a good take. I mean, you're right. At this clip, 1 game a week is very realistic on average, right? But and with Harper back, it certainly helps that cause.
Yeah. I made a mistake not having a fan in this room and wearing long pants. So Bad call.
Behind the scenes, inside baseball, everybody. Tim puts it out there. This is the only show out there you'll get to see 100% transparency.
I am all about the transparency, baby. All about transparency.
Yeah.
We have said many times we're Philadelphia homers. I'm going to disguise myself as a Pirate fan right now.
I guess I didn't hide that too well.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. I apologize for my animals all just making noises and everything now. So let's touch out west here a little bit. Little unfortunate news today. Former Athletics pitcher Vida Blue passed away today at the age of, I believe it was 73. Let me find my link here. Wherever I had that. There it is. Yep. 73. He was the youngest MVP in American or National League history in 1971. Came up in 1969 at the ripe age of 19, John. Talk about a different era of baseball when you're bringing up 19-year-old pitchers. Let me keep scrolling down here. He was 71, won the Cy Young and MVP award in the same year, went 24-8 with a 1.82 ERA and 301 strikeouts over 312 innings. So at that time, he became the 5th player to win both awards in the same year. So great pitcher, part of that A's dynasty in the 70s, passes away at 73.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. In other athletic news, I'm just going to put it out there. They're kind of a complete mess right now.
Yeah.
Whether you want to talk about, here we go, a little more Vita Blue. The old man saw Vita Blue pitch back in the day.
Wow.
And along with many other stories I've heard of Orioles from the old man, some I can't say on air. But
different era.
Yeah, well, different town.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but Oakland, you've got. Let's just touch on the big one here, John. The most recent event. The announcers sometimes have flubs, and sometimes they're very, very big flubs. I don't even know how to talk about this one without, going off the deep end.
Most people probably saw it. Obviously we can't say anything specifically about it. We're not going to do that. But when I first saw the news about it, I, kind of figured, all right, like maybe it was something that was just a slip of the tongue, pronunciation wise, right? And then you look at the context of it and what he was describing and the word he used to describe it. And I'm shocked he's not fired at this point. I'll put it that way.
That's a big one. We can reference this. He was talking about the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame. That is the official title of the museum, the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part of the Hall of Fame he used was not Negro. That's all I'm going to say about that. But
there was an interesting. There's a statement today I saw from the president of that museum, and he actually was rather forgiving to the announcer. And so I was a little surprised at that, but that may be helping his cause. Is that I don't think the people that know him are saying that he didn't think it was out of malice, but this day and age, we saw it happen to Barstool Mincy, man. So
yeah, I don't know if he figured no one was listening. It was during a live broadcast.
Well, nobody heard it live, but then it got shared and went viral, and everybody heard it. Right?
Yeah, and there's a clip of Dallas Braden there too, as like the color guy, and I think he completely missed it because you watch his reaction. It's just he doesn't even react. He doesn't do one of those like double look things. He just kind of sits there and looks like he's spaced out.
Yeah.
What was the other?
I don't blame an A's announcer for being phased out when it comes to. There's not a whole lot of color to add with the arrays these days when it comes to their broadcasts and the team on the field. Man, you're right. Their attendance is what, like 2,500 or something. Just ridiculous, and this on top of everything else going on.
Yeah, and again too with the whole thing of them going to Vegas. And even the thing is there now, they haven't yet submitted plans on what they're going to do with the land. They're still they have to submit things to, I don't know if it's like the township or the Vegas council of whatever, but
zoning
laws basically.
Like that, probably, yeah.
But they haven't decided, what the percentage is going to be between the county and the team of building the stadium. And like, I don't know, just more. I don't know. It's so dumb, John.
I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know. I see both sides of it, man. Like the ownership obviously did the A's no favor. So if it's the same ownership in a new city, it can only improve so much. But they're a dumpster fire, right?
Yeah.
An expansion team to Vegas would probably take a long time. It's going to be the quickest way to make it happen. And I'm sure the MLB would love having a team in Vegas as opposed to Oakland, from a high level standpoint, revenue standpoint, that kind of thing. But these things take time, and there's a lot of hurdles they have to clear. So they're not there yet, obviously.
No. Another thing too here, we'll touch on Oakland. Now MLB is starting to Oakland and MLB are censoring the fans out in right field. Earlier in the week, there were signs that pretty much said, the owner needs to just sell the team. Owner's a liar. He's a sellout, those kind of things. And MLB went to post a video of the home run that was hit where all of these signs are visible, and they are conveniently cropped and zoomed into the ball where you cannot see the signs. So,
not surprising.
Yeah, so the UK page of Oakland Athletic fans, which I didn't know existed.
17 of them, probably.
I would say all 4.
Yeah.
And if you figure you're only getting 1,700 into the stadium to begin with in the States. Though I will say MLB has done a lot to try to get fans out in the UK. And the Phillies apparently have one of the most followed UK pages.
Checks out.
So we'll see. They probably just stay there, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a minor league team. I mean,
are they the Aces minor league team?
Yeah, the Vegas Aces are. I forget who they're affiliated with, but they do have a minor league baseball team.
No, I meant are the Athletic minor league affiliate.
Oh, I don't know. God, dog. Probably see somebody at the community box again, just trying to, grab a box of pasta or something. Let's see here. Let's touch a little positive here. Liam Hendricks for the Chicago White Sox. One good news coming out of Chicago. Beat cancer. I think it was stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. I think it was Hodgkin's, definitely. But he has since started his return back, making a couple rehab appearances. We'll pop this video on here.
Tonight here at Coolray Field, as storylines this man, Liam Hendricks, back on a professional mound. Warming up for the Knights, his first appearance on a rehab assignment for the Chicago White Sox. 34-year-old Hendricks coming back from stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Congratulating him on his return to the mound. A wave to the air for Hendricks. Think about all he had to go through just to get back to this moment. It has been a night here.
So,
it's good stuff. Good stories. These days, you need to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's been a story that's been going around to last couple weeks, but now everything's clear. I didn't quite find the video of him ringing the bell on the way out, but definitely a good positive story. Hopefully he's back within, a couple more rehab starts, but because it's just one of those things where you just got to keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently,
things in perspective.
Yeah, A's AAA team. So there you go.
Okay.
And then there was another "don't give up on your dreams" type thing. The Pirates. Maggi makes his debut. 13-year minor league guy. Kind of reminded me of like Chris Coast there for a little bit. Just a guy who just had to just
grind.
Dude.
The hustler.
Absolutely
good for him,
grind.
Man. Yeah.
Makes his debut at either 32 or 33 years old. Comes up to Pittsburgh and, trying to take in the moment. And our favorite rule strikes again, John.
Yeah.
Strike one.
Yeah. That discretion, lack of discretion. I mean, come on, man.
Well, apparently there's a thing where you have to submit a request for the umpires to call time a day in advance. So if there's a return or anything, or when Hendricks comes back for the first time, that to be hey, he's going to return today from stage 4 cancer. How about you give us 15 seconds to let him, relish the moment.
Yeah.
Come on.
They're still working out the kinks, obviously.
Clearly. And then I believe they sent him back down later in the week, but they did have a doubleheader in Washington, and he did collect a single, and later in the game he did hit a double. So he did get his first hit. I believe he got his first RBI, and he got his first 2-hit game in the majors. So forever in the record books and the baseball almanac, Drew Maggi will have his name etched in history.
Good for him, man.
You take anything out of that, John? A guy battling for 13 years to make his dream come true?
You love to see it, and that's it's important, I guess, for other people in the same situation. Keep grinding. It's the minor league. It's a slog, man. And you have these young bucks that get drafted high or have high expectations that come up through, and you could be a guy you don't get paid a lot, right? The travel's tough, so I think it's a pretty big deal. It's another feel good story, right? Need more of those.
Trying to think. I think I had a second one dialed up here. Yeah, again, to me not being prepared. Speaking of guys, grinding, still going strong, but Zach Greinke's still going, man. I don't know how, especially on that Royals team, but I saw this the other day and thought it'd be worth bringing up. He has pitched so long now and against so many different hitters that he's one of 19 hitters to strike out. 19 pitchers history have struck out more hitters than Greinke. Next win, he becomes tied for 71st all time, 13th best among active pitchers. He has, I have to look to see if he fanned the guys, but he was about to strike out 1,000 different hitters. He has almost 3,000 career strikeouts, and 1,000 of them are just different guys.
Longevity, man.
That's not quite Jamie Moyer-esque longevity, but
sure, but good for him. Yeah, in this day and age with everybody blowing out elbows and shoulders and whatnot, right? Did you see a little bit off topic, but still kind of
here's
relatable tangent? DeGrom, right? No, not DeGrom. Scherzer, sorry. Scherzer obviously had the issue with the Rosen and whatnot. Did you see his spin counts the first game back after his suspension?
Yeah, and he got drilled.
Fell off a cliff, dude.
Yeah.
His spin numbers were down like 25%. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, we can touch on that one here a little bit. And during the ESPN broadcast too, on the Sunday night game after we were talking about it, they were apparently saying something like, when you get rosin in water, like it creates some stick, but then the umpires tell him to wash it off with like alcohol.
And it creates more. Yeah, we saw that in the broadcast, right?
Yeah, and I think it was David Cohn or whatever mixes the rubbing alcohol, which is available in every single med kit that you have. Mix that with the rosin, and it's literally like super glue. Like you just stick it to your hand and it sticks there. So you starting to, John, or is everything just kind of falling off a cliff for him?
What's that?
It was just, what do you think it was, just sweat and rosin, or do you think he was adding a little something?
No. Well, I mean, we'll see as time goes on, right? But you figure his first game back would be the worst time for him to try and slip something past that might be a little bit questionable. So it starts to build on the case of maybe he was, getting a little bit of extra help. Maybe the umpires weren't full of it. So I don't know. Jury's still out, but I think as time goes on, we'll see what the results are.
And speaking of returns to the Mets, Justin Verlander makes his Mets debut and promptly gives up back-to-back home runs.
Yeah, Mets are not looking good right now. Frank the Tank, man, feeble. The feeble Mets.
How many times has he said the season's been over?
Every game they lost.
Let's see what ESPN says here. Gave up back-to-back homers in the first inning, then threw 4 scoreless. I think they lost the game.
They need Darren Ruff back.
Good old Darren Ruff, the former Philly great, the guy who couldn't hit in New York but can somehow absolutely mash in San Francisco. I think it's the power of Gabe.
Could be, dude. Could be. Just pushes the right buttons.
But you think you got to think Verlander rights the ship here, that it was just a freak act, or not a freak accident, but a
bad outing.
Bad outing, yeah.
Probably, but he's also got a lot of miles in those tires. So at a certain point, some people fall off a cliff right away, and some people just kind of slowly declines. We'll see.
Yeah, and what was I going to say too? Him and Scherzer had the same identical contracts, basically that 2-year super mega deal.
Yep.
Like 2-year 125 or 2-year 150, whatever it ended up being. Speaking of a lot of money, there's a new scandal going on here, John, if you read about that at all.
I did. And I know there's some weird betting statistics on Alabama baseball, and asked the baseball coach. I've heard some differing things. I don't know if the data's out in terms of what type of betting there was. Somebody told me that the biggest bets that were placed they were looking at were ones that were placed on Alabama money line to win live during games when they were already winning. So that makes you question things a little bit. Or it's kind of like, well, I mean, how can a coach, I mean, it'd be just people betting on his team to win. It's not like he's throwing games or anything like that. So that was a little bit unusual. But I don't know.
I don't know if it was him doing the bets, because the bets were placed in Comerica Park.
Yeah, no,
I
don't think it was him.
No.
I think they're speculating that he maybe was tipping people or doing something somehow.
Yeah. But it was caught by Ohio first. And the state kind of flagged it and shut off everything. And then it went to New Jersey, and then it went to like Arizona, and then Pennsylvania caught on. So pretty quickly states were shutting down any kind of gambling for college baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I gamble here a little bit. John, you do too, but I don't think I've ever placed a bet on college baseball.
I have not. No. I gamble very, very sparingly and bet very, very sparingly, and not on college baseball ever. I don't know. I guess it makes sense that you can, but
there's no reason to believe that student athletes are involved. Weeks after sued by a former player due to mistreatment of an injury, had been under contract, 2-year extension. Yeah, and it was weird because they were going up against LSU, and I think LSU was the number 1 ranked team in the country, so they were heavily favored to win to begin with. LSU favored to win, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what all's going in with this or what ties into what, but it's definitely a little weird.
It is, and I think as time goes on, we'll learn more. The jury's still kind of out now, but you figure Alabama sports have not had a good run with headlines recently.
No. What do you think about that one, John, with the emphasis on gambling now? Are you shocked that it's taken this long, or is it just something that's always been happening that we're now finally seeing because it's being it's being presented in such open light?
It's a good question. I don't know. Jury's still out on that too, I would say. But you're right. We've seen a lot of headlines with the NFL players that were betting, right? This now getting involved is obviously more prevalent, and there's a lot of sponsorship between leagues and teams and these betting outlets, right? So it's kind of like how much of a incentive is there to look the other way, right? Maybe regulators have gotten better with it since it's now time's going on, and they're getting data that they weren't able to get before. But yeah, I don't think the trend's going to stop. I think we'll probably just see more of it, right?
Yeah, I think I think it's just one of those things that it's always been one of those things that has happened, but it's not really kind of talked about. It's just kind of hush hush kind of thing, because apparently the only thing that goes better than peanut butter and jelly is baseball and gambling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just came up with that. I thought it'd be pretty funny. Not the only joke I had this week that completely tanked.
Zinger.
Nah, that was a bomb. Speaking of things that didn't land quite well, horrible transition. Did you see the Zach Eflin thing where he was forced to take off his silicone wedding band under his pitching glove?
I didn't see that, no, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it was a weird one. I've got the video if you're explaining it. I just cleared out a bunch of tabs, so I should be able to find things easier.
Keeping on, it's very important to me, and most umpires are cool with it, and they'll kind of let MLB take care of it if they need to. But this umpire crew is kind of a little different. They seemed a little on edge, but it's part of it. I said if you're going to eject me out of the game, then I'll take it off, and that's what they ended up coming out and telling me on the mound, was that they're going to toss me out of the game if I didn't take off my rubber ring. So I took it off.
I want to know what the bottle is sitting.
I was going to say it looks like a bottle of Hennessy, dude.
I want to know what that is. I just
Vossier, some type of it's I don't know what it is, but yeah. What competitive advantage would he get from having a wedding band underneath his glove?
Yeah, it's not like my ring. My ring's got a bit of a little bevel up to it. So if I really wanted to, I could scratch up a ball with it and give myself a little extra, grow out the fingernail, dig it in, and actually get some spin out of it. But it's a rubber ring.
Yeah, underneath his glove.
Underneath the pitching, underneath. Yeah, because he's right-handed, so it's under.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stupid, man.
Same jerk crew that has called everything. I wonder if that was the same crew there too that got into it with the Pirates manager.
That would shock me.
Did you see the Pirates manager? Like, he was arguing something with the pitch clock or whatever. You got to give guy time to do whatever, and umpire was like, "This is the second inning." Umpire just threw him out. Some good stuff. But yeah, I don't understand. Do you think there's a rule anywhere that says you can't wear anything under the glove like that, or is it just umpire crew being so over the top that we have to get involved in some way, shape, or form?
It's a good question. I don't know that, to be honest with you. But
well, what's your feeling? Like, do you think it's
even if there's a rule or not, it does feel overzealous, right? I mean, come on. Like, you got to use a little bit of discretion, I guess, right? Like we talked about with the whole pitch clock thing, right? Either you have no discretion or you have some discretion, right? And so you have to have a human element there to kind of look at it logically and be like, what the heck? So in this case, it seems ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I think it's a little out of hand here. Just like, one, it's a rubber. You can't scuff it up in any way. Number two, it's not like the rubber band's thick enough to where you can like fold it back and there's a little capsule of rubbing alcohol sitting in there that you can drip into your fingers real quick and get with the rosin. Like, there's no Batman device. I mean, it's a silicone rubber ring. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here? Yeah, here's a good one. You can wear chains, wear necklaces and everything, but God forbid you wear a rubber ring.
Yeah, not wrong about that.
But that rubber ring doesn't cost $30-some thousand, and the diamond earring, and yeah, if you're gonna do anything, you take the diamond earring out and you stab the ball a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just me. If you remember here, we'll wind down here a little bit, touch into some scores then. But Matt Harvey decided to hang up the spikes, John. The Dark Knight is finally not patrolling Gotham anymore.
Blast from the past. Excuse me.
I'm trying.
Coming on. Yeah, I guess I'm allergic to Matt Harvey. I don't know.
Or wasn't he caught like dishing out cocaine to players? Like, because he was called in a trial for the thing in LA, wasn't he?
The Skaggs case.
Yeah, I think he was in that in some way, shape, or form.
Take a look. Oh, he admitted cocaine use.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he had admitted to providing it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but you want to, again, too, like you touched on earlier, just some guys have a steady decline. Other guys just go down a hill and never come back.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, and you think about that Mets rotation. He was going to be the number one guy. It was him. Yeah. It was Syndergaard. It was DeGrom. Steven Matz. I'm trying to remember the fifth guy. But, I mean, it's just that rotation of the Mets was insane.
Stacked.
His on-street interviews when he came up were hysterical. People had no idea who he was.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
Was that a Kimmel bit?
I think it might have been, yeah. Where he was asking questions about himself and people had no idea that he was the one asking the questions. Yeah, that was good.
Let's see. What else was I gonna? I think that takes care of all those topics. But he did have a. Oh, that now I start finding tabs of things I couldn't find before. So that's exactly what happens when I pull up too many tabs at the same time. Here we go. Since we talked about the rules here a little bit, let's find a little bit of positives here in the rules. Some players like some rules.
Some players like some rules. All right.
Players don't. Ian Happ likes not having the shift. Blake Snell can't think of anything.
Good thing they printed that.
Yeah, none that I can think of. Mark Hanna likes getting home from games earlier. Matt Moore likes there's not a lot of time wasted out in the bullpen. Kyle Hishigawa can go shove it with the ghost runner in extra innings because he doesn't play
cold take. Very cold take.
Kevin Cash likes the pitch clock, and my dog apparently likes it too. 17 seconds with no one on base, but yeah, you can. Again, some guys like things, some guys don't.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Leave it at that. Let's see. So let's pull up, go over the scores today. Since it was Sunday night, things got kicked off at 11. The Braves beat the Orioles. Phillies beat the Red Sox. Blue Jays absolutely trounced. Trounced? Is that the right word?
That's a good word.
I like it. Is that a word?
It.
That's a word. It's a word now. 10-1 Blue Jays over the Pirates. Guardians beat the Twins. Rockies, Rays, Royals, Cardinals all pick up wins over their opponents. Marlins, Brewers, Rangers absolutely destroy the Angels 16-8. Mariners beat the Astros. And I did have a clip from that game, John, of Julio Rodriguez absolutely crushing a home run. Where Paul Goldschmidt hit 3 home runs today as well. Lots of
week and you're back and you're trying to get right. Julio!
Yeah.
He's off! There it goes! Watch it fly! Julio!
Good thing an LG flip cell phone took that video. Really good quality.
I think that's more or less my sharing of the screen.
Oh, gotcha.
Wonder if there are any stats yet of runs up with no shift. I was gonna say I've seen some pretty high scoring games with the Rangers, and I know they got shifted on a lot. But I can't think off the top of my head. No, I can't think of anything like that either. Pull this one away. And before we do go here, Dan sent us this from our friends out in Indiana. Super tragic accident. Let me pull the post back up here. Tucker Swain was a young man playing travel baseball. And on April 29th, shortly after a game in which he was awarded a MVP of a game, tragic accident happened. Noah was struck by a vehicle and sadly passed away. There are donations to the family. There's a link for a GoFundMe in the description of this video should you wish to donate. If you're a praying type of person or any person of faith, thoughts and prayers to the family. But tragic accident leads to the loss of a young man just playing ball.
Awful. Thoughts and prayers to everybody.
Thoughts and prayers. And again, should you like to donate, there is a link to the video of a GoFundMe, which is incredible to see, like, just when people give things and just without even second guessing it. I guess I had it up there real quick. The goal was like 50,000 and it's over 150. So thoughts and prayers to the family again. If you pray. If you like to donate. But throw up 12. And Tucker, I didn't get word if he had a favorite team or a favorite player, but if you believe in heaven, at least he's looking down now and gets to watch any game he wants. No price of ticket or anything necessary. I'm not good with these type of things, John.
Yeah. Tragic situation, certainly, but terrible. But the outpouring of support's a good thing, and hopefully it continues for all those affected.
So let's wrap it up here. Not the best note to wrap it up on, but it's the last thing I wanted to touch on. Get the graphic up, get the word out. Our sponsors have been rolling at the bottom here. Leap Performance, What's Poppin' Corn Snacks, Revved Up Tattoos, Printed Memories, Doc Sports Bets. Go check them out. Go check out the GoFundMe. And John will be back with more baseball news and hopefully a little more uplifting news next time.
Absolutely.
So till then.